Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name's Chris and it's fantastic to have you back with us for another video. In today's video we're going to have a look at Harmony and some fantastic news, at least on the surface of it. Scratch beneath the surface, ask some questions, and then I guess you've got to ask the question, is it really that fantastic? I've got some concerns. Gonna highlight them. If you enjoy that sort of content, mash up the like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, tapping that bell, selecting all the notifications so you never miss a video. Now this is going to be all about validators, the pools and all that sort of stuff, right? So this might give you a bit more of an insight into how things actually operate when it comes to your delegation into a Harmony pool, for example. Now what I would say is, as people delegate into a Harmony 1 pool, you've got nothing to worry about. This is really the stuff behind the scenes, in the background, and how it operates. But it's interesting stuff, and I think it's good for you to know about it. And also I think it's a platform for us to have an opinion taken seriously. So let's get down to the desktop. Okay, so Harmony 1 is down. What is it down? It's down 2.5% at the time of recording at 0.01662, ranked 119th by market cap now. So let's have a look at the fantastic news, right? The fantastic news, at least on the surface of it, is Harmony has committed to staking 200 million won and allowing the community to decide how to utilize the rewards earned. So, please give some feedback, right? So when you read that headline, that seems really, really bullish, right? And yeah, it does, right? I mean, how do you spend those rewards? It's not really how it's gonna actually go down, right? So I've gone into here, I've given my opinion, but here are my concerns, right? So I'm going to start with my first concern. My first concern is that this is not actually fixing the actual problem. So for those of you that don't know, there is a real inherent problem with Harmony, when you kind of look at how centralized it is and how decentralized it is. So Binance have a really, big percentage hold of Harmony. It's huge, it's massive, it's very centralized, right, in that regard. So you've got this argument that we need more validators. That will make it more decentralized. That means that we will get a listing on Coinbase. Rah, 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 rah. And we're pro all of that, right? We're pro small pools. Nick and myself, we were a small pool, believe it or not. We didn't just have a pool at 44 million. There was a lot of graft that went into building a community behind that, and lots of video content. You see the YouTubers like 𝗕𝗘𝗀𝗀𝗧 saying they're the hardest working channel in crypto. It's not factually accurate. We are the hardest working crypto channel in the world. Fact. Go look at the statistics, how many videos we've put out in such a short period of time. There's no one in this space that works harder than Nick and I. And we've built this community, and I think it's a sizable community now. And we've built that pool up from zero, right? And we've been there, with people knocking us out so we weren't elected and so forth. Even when we were a bigger pool, 20 million, 30 million in our pool, we still have big pools trying to push us out and get us unelected. So we feel the pain, and we do support small pools. We support small pools, with personal delegation from our own holdings of one. We have done shout outs for Harmony pools, that aren't elected and so forth, right? We've done an awful lot for small pools, and we're certainly not against small pools, and we're certainly not pushing small pools out, right? If we were, you'd see us down at 1.9 million effective bid, right? That's what we would be going for. So look, right, this is about what's best for the ecosystem, and throwing money at stuff or throwing harmony at it all the time is not the solution. So let me just, run through and hear me out and let me know what your thoughts and opinions are in the comments below. So I say that it's not fixing the problem here, right? So what is the problem? And I think that's the bit that needs to be articulated here. So first of all, you're brand new, so you have to use your imagination here a little bit, like some of you anyway. You're brand new to harmony. You're going to delegate your harmony to a pool for the very first time. Obviously, you're going to go with a cheeky one pool, right? But argument's sake, you don't know about us. You're here for the first time, right? You go straight to the website here for validators to select your validator. But where are all the unelected validators? Oh, they're not here. No, they're not here because the system's set up to encourage people to delegate to elected pools. It doesn't encourage you as a new user to delegate to an unelected pool. Now you have to select all here to see the unelected pools, right? So first of all, I think before you throw any money at small pools, you need to level out the playing field a little bit more. That's my opinion. Let me know what your thoughts and opinions are in the comments below. Do you think that that's a fair concern to have, that you're not actually fixing the underlying issues here and you're just throwing money at it? So that's the first thing. The second thing is to actually go into a little bit more detail, right? And this might be over a lot of people's heads, but basically, in a nutshell, the way that this works is you go down here. So you've got all these slots. Now there's 900 slots per epoch, right? So if we go all the way down here, where are I? 900. So, okay, so here we go. So this person here, they've got 1.651 million in their pool. They're elected, but this person here isn't, right? But as we go up the chain here, so this person here has 6.2 million in their pool, right? I'd still class them as a small pool, but their effective bid here is 2 million. That means that they've potentially got here 3 keys. Do they really need 3 keys, right? Even the small pools are knocking out the small pools, right? Like, let's just be clear here. The big pools always get called out, but the small pools are just as bad, right? And the reason why it's like this is because it's gamification. Like, everybody's bidding for as many keys as they can possibly get in order to give the people delegating to their pool the best rewards possible. And that is a problem. That's an inherent problem for this system. If you want to have more delegators and you want this to become more decentralized, then you need to change the system, in my opinion. Let me know what your thoughts and opinions are in the comments below. But, you need to go with, I guess, a system that is a fair system. So something like, and I see this all the time, small pools complaining that they're running at a loss. So why not cover the cost of the running of the pools? Yeah, for everybody across the board. Yeah, this is what Cardano do. They give 350 ADA. That's enough to cover the cost of running the pool. Yeah, and then your rewards are on top. So why not do something similar here? And the other thing to do as well is have it more like a lottery system. This is just an example. You could choose it. There's many ways of doing it, but this is my preferred option. Have a lottery system where, over the course of a year, regardless of the size of the pool, it's going to work out to be roughly the same percentage returns for each pool. And then it doesn't matter. You're not going to have this gamification scenario. So, I think the whole system is set up against small pools. I just don't think it's the right approach. That I'm all for supporting small pools, but I'm all for it in the right way. And this isn't the right way, in my opinion. And you can argue it with me, debate it with me. I'm fine doing that. But all I see is the same mistakes happening time and time again when it comes to harmony at the moment, and I'm watching acutely, right? So anyway, okay, let's move on, right? So I don't think that you're fixing the actual problem. You just throw money at it. Yeah, so that's the first thing. Additional selling pressure is my next concern. So let's say you don't listen to what I'm saying here. You take my concerns and you just ignore them, right? And you continue to implement what you're planning to implement anyway, which I think is a silly thing to do. In a nutshell, I think there's a real risk that you add to the pressure, cell pressure for harmony. And why do I believe this? Because I believe that people are going to come here with, no intentions of supporting harmony as a project, but just to come here for the free money. Because ultimately that's what you're going to be doing. You're going to give them maybe 3.5–5 million which will basically make them profitable. Now, by making them profitable, you're basically just giving people free money. And I think that's why people are going to come. And ultimately, I just think that's fundamentally wrong. I really do think that, you should have to earn it, and it shouldn't just be given to you. I think it's just going to lead to added sell pressure, because people are going to come. They're just going to come. They're going to sell every single time, an epoch ends. And ultimately, we're just giving money away, basically. And I just don't agree with that. So, that's another concern that I've got when it comes to this side of things, the additional sell pressure. There's nothing stopping me and Nick setting up a number of small pools, right? There's nothing stopping Nick and myself setting up 10 pools. If you're going to give 5 million to each one of these pools, well, give us 50 million, we'll set up another 10 pools. That's the scenario that is another risk, right? These big pools just split their pools into smaller pools and reap the rewards, right? Reap more rewards, meaning that the smaller pools are still not going to get elected and they're still going to leave. So you've got to look at these risks and you've got to weigh them up. I think there seems to be a real rush to just put this through, and I really don't like things when they're rushed and not well thought through. So this is basically the details here, right? And I've given my thoughts on it, as you can see there. But this is the real problem for me. We simply do not have time to flash out the details in fine degree. Like you just need to, in my opinion, because ultimately, you're going to be, just causing problems in the background, in my opinion. The other concern that I have is what happens when that 200 million is delegated, 5 million apiece to all these unelected pools, right? Just hypothetically speaking, right? There's no more harmony to delegate, but more pools spin up. You're in the same problem you are now, because you're going to have these pools that can't get elected and are going to leave. So, yeah, and I guess the other concern with that is, do you end up with a small pool of people deciding who's going to be successful and who's going to fail? Because ultimately somebody's got to make a decision on who gets the delegation and who doesn't. And I think that's a scary thing to have, because that isn't decentralized. That's just a form of centralization. The other thing that, again, frustrates me a little bit with some of these pools, right? Because I see lots of small pools complaining that they're not elected, right? They're not elected, and they're running at a loss. Okay, so what I'd say is there's so many of these pools, with no fees. Now, I've been there, right? Nick's been there with our pool. When we first started, somebody offered to delegate 5 million to our pool on the basis that we had 0% commission for 6 months. Like, you just can't do that. Like, there's people taking advantage. Like, I don't think that you should be complaining about running at a loss when you're running at 0% fees to encourage people to go to your pool over spending 5% on other pools. I think that should be scrapped. Again, I just, these are just my opinions. You don't have to agree with them, but I just think that you're complaining about running at a loss, but then you're not charging any fees. So I think that that needs to be removed. You can't complain about something if you're not charging any fees, in my opinion. Now, the other thing that concerns me quite a lot, and this is more of a concern outside of the validator aspect of things and the pool aspect of things, and that is the fact that I see these sorts of proposals being put forward, and how quickly people want to implement them without fully thinking them through. At least on the face of it, it looks to me like, you know, my concerns are not being listened to. Perceptionally, that is my perception of it. I don't think that, you know, they're being debated. People are very quick to just disregard them because actually it's harder work to solve the issues than it is just to throw money at it. So these are my concerns, but the biggest concern I have is Harmony are not learning from the mistakes they keep making. And this is something that I want to monitor because it is really concerning to me. You know, we've seen grants, we've seen projects be given grants and then do one. They've gone back to another chain. Yeah, like they only came here for the money. They've gone. Yeah, like you're not retaining them. We see problems with the DAOs and, you know, the fact that they're just not operating, you know, as they should. Now, I've put these down to, you know, being early, and these are just signs that, you know, it's really early. It's the first time these have been run, and, you know, it's a whole learning process. But if you're not learning from the mistakes and you're not sharing lessons learned across the ecosystem, then that's concerning. So yeah, look, those are my concerns. Now, what does this mean for anybody that's delegating their one to a Harmony pool? Doesn't really mean very much, because ultimately, you know, you can still delegate your one and you're still going to get a really good, juicy, passive return on your Harmony that's delegated. It's still going to be safe and all that wonderful stuff. But I think people need to understand what's happening in the background, behind the scenes. You know, Nick and myself constantly getting called out for blocking small pools from getting elected when we're doing the best for our delegators. We're, you know, at a level where we're allowing small pools to still get elected, and, you know, we do support in many different ways. Nobody has come directly and DM'd me. They just prefer to spread nonsense on Twitter and other social media platforms, rather than actually having, you know, a grown-up conversation. Seems that that's the seen as the best approach. That has the polar opposite impact on, you know, trying to achieve the goal you want to achieve, because it just gets people's backs up. So those are my thoughts, my opinions. I hope this video was useful. Hopefully people will see the genuine concerns that I have about this particular proposal. Like I say, I want small pools to be successful. Happy to debate and support small pools. You know, I just think that, you know, the problem needs to be fixed, and the solution that you've got is not fixing the problem. That's my opinions. That's my thoughts. Probably fall on deaf ears, but it is what it is. If you enjoyed today's video, mash up that like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, tapping that bell, selecting all the notifications so you never miss a video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.